Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting live episode of Strange Oddities podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Haas. And of course, we have another great topic tonight and another cool guest tonight. It's a special episode of Strange Oddities podcast. We have a Halloween special that we're bringing to our listeners because Halloween is right around the corner. It's a couple days away. It's Sunday. I can't believe it's my most favorite holiday of the year, and I can't wait. Halloween is Sunday, and hopefully it don't rain on the kids to go trick or treating. I'm a big horror fan. I'm a big sci-fi geek and all that great stuff. But guys, let's get the boring stuff out of the way as always before I introduce this gentleman to everybody tonight. Guys, if we can't exactly hear ourselves live, we had a little bit of problems before the show. The topic tonight is cursed films. I think we were cursed because there was some stuff going on before the show. Maybe we brought that into the show tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully the rest of the show goes fine. If we can't hear ourselves live, let us know what's going on. If we sound great, let us know either way. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to YouTube. Go to YouTube, that little bell at the right top corner of the page. You subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Guys, new subscribers, thank you as always. You can follow us on Facebook. Any news announcements, guest announcements for Strange Oddities podcast is on the Facebook page. You want to know about guests coming up, that's the place to be. All right. You don't want to miss out on any news because the premise of the show is you never know what's going to happen on Strange Oddities podcast. You don't know what kind of topic it's going to be. I mean, we cover everything under the kitchen sink, so you just never know who's going to show up. Just like this gentleman who I'm going to bring in right now. Boom, here we go. We have Mr. Gary Greener. He's a paranormal investigator, a good friend of mine. We've worked together on a couple of things, and we research a lot of things together. We have a lot of fun. I don't know what happened to my Halloween background here. Gary, what's up, man?
I don't know. We don't need Halloween. This is scary enough. But yeah,
What's up? There we go. That's my Halloween
there it is.
background.
But we are starting off weird.
Yeah,
So
I
far,
think we.
Matt already sounded like Donald Duck on helium. But
I uh, I cursed the show tonight,
yeah, right. Yeah, it's
like
very
literally.
way to get meta about it.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Still here. Haven't been cursed. But found some really interesting stuff out researching this one. Other than that,
Yeah, we have some really cool stuff that we've been working on researching. Um, they said Gary needs to sound louder. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
need to
like,
be louder.
yeah.
Oh, I can get louder.
Okay, we're gonna raise the volume. We're gonna raise the bar in the show. How's that? So, all right, we'll see what we can do to sound better,
How's
guys.
that? Do I sound better now?
You sound fine to me. Yeah, you should be good.
Oh, they're saying they can't hear me very well. I can get louder. I can yell.
um, I don't know. I don't think there's anything really.
Listen, damn it, Matt. I get it. It's a cursed show, but you're really taking it to the next level here.
Yes, I am. All right. We're trying to make it louder. Bear with us. I'm trying everything on our end, so I don't know why it's doesn't sound loud to them, but I'm doing the best.
Louder, please. I'm old. We're trying, Deb. We're trying.
Hmm.
Making sure that even my settings aren't whacked out.
Yeah, check your settings because everything's up on here. All the volume is up. I'm at
Nope.
I'm maxed. It could be restream. Okay, they're saying your end is low. I'm loud and clear on
My
my
end
end.
is low. Okay.
Yeah.
I have everything all set right.
So we'll work on that, guys. We have a really interesting topic. I'm gonna just share with our listeners as we work the kinks out, technical
Yeah,
wise.
you talk. I'll figure it. I'll work on it.
Not that I'm boring enough, but so yeah, we have a really cool topic for everybody tonight. I thought for our horror fans, those who are horror fans, um, we're doing cursed films. The show tonight is cursed already. I cursed it. Sorry.
How
Any
about now?
progress?
Do I sound better now? Get him to disconnect and reconnect.
You could try that if you want.
All right, he doesn't want me here. I'm leaving. I'll be back.
You want to? It's up to you. Otherwise, we'll stick with what we got. Okay, we're gonna try that. We're gonna get him back. No worries.
Test, test,
Hello,
testing. Hello.
testing. Hello,
Anybody? Anybody? Speak. Speak.
Bueller.
Anybody?
Bueller.
Bueller.
How's that, guys? Let us know.
Josie. Deb. How do I sound now? Do I sound better? Yes. No. Maybe.
Bring the mic up a little.
How about now?
That's better. Well, to me, that's better.
Eh. Sound eh.
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 No.
No.
Ugh.
This worked so well yesterday. Worked
I know
perfect
it did.
yesterday when we tested it all out.
Yeah, we tested everything yesterday. I swear. I
Anything
swear on my
different?
life.
No. Bring the mic up close. It sounds fine when I did that. Does it sound better when I do this? That's just louder.
Okay, I can lower mine.
No, they're saying no. Listen, we're going to get this loud. Getting it loud.
Yeah. How do I? All right. How's that? I'm not. Maybe I'm overpowering it. That could be.
You and your thunderous, overpowering voice.
Okay. They're saying that when you got close to the mic, that it was loud.
If I get any closer, it's just going to be inside the mouth. That's
Yeah.
just,
It'll be like
we're not making that type of video.
Or if you ever saw the movie Private Parts, where Howard Stern was talking to that girl that was crazy about him, and he had sex with her over the radio.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing in the world. So sex over the radio. So anyway, we're not here for that.
No.
We're not here for that at all.
No.
We are here to talk about cursed film, and not
Yeah.
this one.
Well, for those who are in the podcast world, know that this shit happens all the time. So we're just gonna muddle through it. It wouldn't be a show without it. Yeah. All right. We're gonna continue anyway. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. We have a cool guest. We have Mr. Gary Greener. As I was trying to introduce him earlier, he's a good friend of mine. He's a paranormal investigator and researcher. He's a very smart, intelligent person. He builds stuff like, he could probably build his own nuclear plant in his bedroom.
Stop it! I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. I am a normal person that doesn't know how to do those things.
Well, we talked about building that one thing where the government would confiscate and probably throw us
Yes,
in jail.
the government is good to me. Leave them be. We won't involve them. Let's stop talking about them.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to make you look good and sound good for everybody. So, well, to me, you're smart. You're very smart, and there's like you have so much talent. Like, really, no, I admire you. You know that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I admire what you do. Like I keep telling you that this is just. I'm blown away by it. It literally seems like every time you step in it, you come up smelling like a rose. It's like, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. But enough rubbing each other. Come on, let's talk about some cursed film.
All right. Cursed films, guys. It's a cool topic. There's actually a TV show on Shudder, I think is the name of the network. I believe AMC works with Shudder, or they collaborate, or if they own them. I'm not sure if they own them, but they have a TV series or docu-series called Cursed Films. I watched it a couple years back, and I thought it was a great concept. There's a lot of movies and films that have some really either bad luck or a lot of bad things have happened during the making of these really iconic movies. Now, they may not necessarily be cursed per se, because Gary and I both agree that some budgets aren't really that great for these movies at during their time that they made them. Very low budget filmmaking for those time periods of when these movies were made. So is it possible they were just accidental and they're just kind of like, throwing that controversy in there, just to kind of hype it up? And what's your thoughts on that, Gary? We expressed that a little bit in our conversation last night, testing stuff out. I think for the most part, a lot of these things are along those lines, but there are some really bad stuff that has happened to people.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff that happened to people. I mean, went back and look at, and let's put it out there first of all. Before the 1950s, film studios basically owned their actors, and I found tons of stuff that you could be like it's cursed, but it went back to the producers like, no, deal with it. We pay you. It's like, here, we want to set you on fire.
Yeah.
That's it. We're going to set you on fire.
Or break your back,
you know,
give you a bad injury,
yeah,
and
we'll give you 6 weeks off afterwards, but we're going to set you on fire.
yeah, we have
You
to
know,
make this film no matter how bad you're hurt.
stunt guys were a fat dude with a cup of coffee that used to sit there and tell the actor, "Jump off that," and like literally, that's how it was. But I mean,
Yeah.
but as you go, that was back in the day. More modernized things. Where they have stunt coordinators and prop masters, and we won't get into the most recent issues. But accidents still happen. But I mean, there are certain things we did find about movies that go outside the realm of just acting, bad safety standards type thing. Found a lot of lore and history on stuff too. But I mean, like, there's I don't know. Let's talk about it. We'll let everybody else decide whether or not it's cursed or if it was just bad acting.
Yeah, or bad budget, and producers didn't give a
Oh
crap.
yeah, horrible budgets.
So, again, I'm not swearing that these are cursed movies, but we're just, it's the title of the show. But in our opinion, we just said, it could be due to bad budget, could be because the producers didn't care that, during that time period, they just did whatever for a good rating. So, but
Yeah, Josie's right. Kubrick used to abuse Shelley Long on the Shining set just to get that real reaction.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. Nice job on our our comment, guys. If you haven't known, there's a comment section on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. In the comment section, your comments will show up in the chat. We can see your comments and questions. So if you have any comments on what we're talking about tonight, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll answer them best we can. Or
Yeah, not Shelley Long. My bad.
yeah,
Duvall.
Duvall, Shelley Duvall.
I'm horrible with names. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
Rob?
yeah. So, all right, what do we want to start off with? That's the key thing. You want to start off with the most simplest one before we get heavy. Like I was thinking, Poltergeist is most popular, and everybody knows the characters and actors in that movie very well. If you don't, shame
I
on
mean,
you.
yeah. I mean, I call it like the big three there. You have Poltergeist, Rosemary's Baby, and The Omen. They're like the big three. A lot of the more modern movies, like The Conjuring and stuff, I'm like, I got a feeling that that's just trumped up lore. Like, hey, here's some free publicity on it. I mean, Amityville can be tossed into that big three. It's a big 3.5. That being because what we talked about last night, how it's like back then, it's like nobody wanted to like bring that up. Like, no, we don't want people to think that there's a curse. So
Yeah, I mean there were deaths that occurred before, during, and after. So they're connecting the deaths with the filming, and they're saying that because that happened during the movie, is there something to that? Well, there's some stuff that I didn't know about with Poltergeist, which is Steven Spielberg actually used real skeletons because, again, like we were talking about budget, They actually said Spielberg made a comment saying plastic skeletons cost more money, believe it or not. So they decided to use real human skeletons. That's
Yeah,
a con.
it was
It's not
cheaper to go to medical
right.
supply stores and get skeletons. And turns out that, well, when you donate your body to science, um,
Yeah,
surprise.
yeah, but it like that's what started the curse because people thought like since they used real skeletons that depending on where they came from or those people's background, I don't know. I don't think they were Native American, but there was some,
Could
you
have
know,
been.
could have
Don't
been.
know.
We don't know.
They just thought it was a box of props. Um, yeah. I mean,
So
you hear stories about that, like when you have oh well, we filmed on location in Native American burial grounds, and it's like, oh, this is the set we filmed in the studio that this person was in that they died, and but a lot of times when you research, you can find stuff out about it and realize, oh well, that's not the case.
yeah,
But like perfect example of cursed movies is like the one John Wayne flick I can't remember, where like 60 people on the set from the cast and crew all died of cancer.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
But then
granted, they filmed out in the
it
they
was near
filmed out in the
nuclear
West.
fallout.
Yeah, in the fallout fields
Yeah,
of the nuclear test sites.
yeah,
I wouldn't call that cursed. I'd call that just bad decision.
yeah.
Um,
Which I hope they sued the movie production for that.
that was back then. That was back in the day when they're like, "No, you work for us. Shut up." Um, no, I think somebody tried to sue the government. You know how that works.
Yeah,
But we like the
round and
government.
round we
Don't look
go.
at me.
Yeah.
Um, but no, all right. Let's talk about films. You
All
said
right.
you want to start light.
Yeah, we'll start with Poltergeist, but I want to add one more thing with the skeleton thing. Here's a question for you and our listeners. Now, if you were a paid actor as much as they get paid, and obviously they get paid a decent amount of money to do these movies, right? But back then, money what it is today in movies is much different. This was what early '80s. I think the
Yeah,
first
late
film was
'70s, early '80s when they started into the actual
right.
idea of it.
So if you knew, well, I don't see. Here's the thing: did they know that they were real skeletons before or after? Because if you knew that you were swimming in a muddy, unfinished pool full of real human skeletons, would you actually do it?
Well, I don't think the actors knew.
Right.
I'm sure the prop guy that bought them knew.
Yes.
Said, "Wow, it's going to be cheaper to get them over here." And they went in, and when he went to buy it, the guy's like, "You do realize they're real people?" And
Yeah.
he probably went, "I don't care."
Yeah.
The director might have known.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think the actors knew right off the bat. I'm
It
sure
even
nobody.
looked. It
They're
even
not
looked like.
jumping in, going, "Is this real or fake?"
It even looked like my wife pointed out because we were watching Poltergeist actually last night. It was kind of funny. Came on after we were testing our thing. Um, but in the pool, like when the skeletons float up, one of them looks like they opens up their mouth and is like screaming as it was floating to the top, and they're probably saying, "You used me as a prop, damn it!"
Right? Either like you used me as a prop, or they're just, or the director's like, "It'd be good if we made it do this." So
Yeah. Or if I was the producer, and again, like the whole Shelley Duvall thing, I'd really want to get their reaction if they knew if it was real human skeletons, and like, would you get a better acting thing out of them if they knew or if they didn't know?
well, all right, let's start this.
That's
Preface this with like any Kubrick movie. We're bouncing off of any cursed actions on set because that was literally his thing. He's like, Full Metal Jacket. He's like, I'm gonna abuse these guys to no end just so I can get that authenticity.
right.
You know,
That's what I mean.
her they abused the hell out of her
Yeah.
on that film set. But ironically enough, the kid never knew he was making a horror film, um, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah.
But no, with Poltergeist, with like a lot of strange deaths associated with it.
Yep.
Um, Heather O'Rourke, obviously the little They're Here kid,
Yeah,
creepy ass kid. Um,
she was cute.
no, she wasn't. She was creepy. She was way too creepy for that. She was way too into that whole thing.
For a
Um,
6-year-old.
yeah, you know, you know. Besides, who sleeps with a clown doll? Come
Well,
on.
well,
Before anything happened, before she gets eaten by the closet or the pool, she's sleeping with a clown doll.
well, that was her brother's.
Yeah, but yeah, and he was scared to hell up. He was scared to death of it. Okay, but she's all like snuggle up in bed with it night night. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
creepy kid. All right, creepy kid. Simple as that. But
Well, they had to get somebody to fill that role, I guess. So she
so that
played the
made the
part.
creepy kid. Fair enough. Imagine how she'd be with the Chucky doll.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So she'd be like, "Oh, yeah."
we're engaged. You know, we're looking for a house in the suburbs. Um, but there was a lot of injuries and accidents on that film also.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we bounce off of Heather O'Rourke, I want to share like what I have about her
go. Oh yeah,
real quick because it's short. What I didn't know is they actually misdiagnosed her with Crohn's disease. So she fell very ill on and off the set sometimes, and right before the last film was made, so they were able to have her in each movie up until like around 1988, and she got rushed to a hospital um, really quickly because she fell ill during one of the sets, and they said that she died during an operation because of an abnormality, and they labeled the cause of death was reported uh, as a cardiac arrest due to the abnormality of the intestine while they were operating.
yeah.
But and she was only 6 years old, so I wonder, like, it doesn't really say much what they were pinpointing of what she might have had before being diagnosed with actual Crohn's disease.
Well, let's be honest. It was it was the early '80s. Radiology isn't what it is today. You didn't have high definition imaging. Exploratory surgery was a big thing back then. Yeah, the good old '80s.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, and it's like, could that been a curse? Could that have been some type of curse put on it? Um, I know there was a lot of talk about the curses with the second movie. And I think the only curse they had about the third movie was that it sucked. Uh,
Yeah, it was terrible.
so
Even like poor Tangina didn't have a very good part, and her part was like it was terrible.
I liked Little Tangina. She was creepy cool though.
The part where she like remember when she like turned into like this dead thing or whatever. That part was creepy because how they made her look.
Well, there's no filter.
Yeah.
Um, actually played in Poltergeist 2. His name was Steve just posted about Will Sampson.
Yeah, I was reading that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna get into that actually. That's part of what we have. Um, which I didn't know about Samson, which is he was like I said, he's actually a real medicine man, and he was having heart transplant surgery, and the survival of his type of heart transplant was like slim, but he passed because of his heart thing, and but what I didn't know about is after people because again to answer my question in the beginning about the skeleton, they didn't know till after because when they found out the possibility of that being real skeletons being used, they had to perform an exorcism, and they had the medicine man Samson actually do an exorcism kind of blessing after the movie was wrapped up
Yeah, well,
because they were bothered by the fact that the possibility of it being real human skeletons.
you should have thought of that ahead of time.
Yeah, you should have. Um, Gary, what else do you have about? Because I know I have a little thing about Dominique.
Yeah, tell about Dominique. Come on, take it home on the poltergeist thing.
All
We'll
right,
go on to the next one.
all right. I'll give you the next one. All
No,
right.
man, finish out with her. What about the older sister? We can't leave her out.
No, she didn't have a very huge part because, well, she was strangled. She was killed. Uh, so she couldn't reprise her role, obviously.
No, yeah.
I
But
think,
that's another like horrible death involved in
yeah,
it, in with the movie or associated with the cast of the movie.
yes.
I mean,
So she was dating this guy. His name was John Sweeney in 1982. Had a weird relationship with this gentleman, and they broke up. I believe a year later, he tries to come back to the relationship, but she refused because obviously it was not a good relationship. So she refused, and after she refused him to come back, he basically, I guess, freaked out on her, and he strangled her and left her to die in her driveway. So
sounds like a
unfortunately,
stand-up fella. I'll tell
yeah,
you.
right. You want to win somebody back. That ain't the way to do it.
Right.
But what I find really, excuse my language, what I find really fucked up is he was only sentenced for 6.5 years in prison, but then was released after 3 years and 7 months for strangling and killing somebody. Like, what's wrong with that picture?
Good lawyer. Good lawyer.
Good lawyer.
I mean, come on. You remember OJ? I mean, look what he got away with.
That's true.
But then, like, every one of his lawyers died of cancer. So it's like, irony. Um, karma maybe. But we won't go. We're not down here. We're not here to talk about the juice. Um,
um,
so what else you got for Poltergeist?
all right. So in the second one, Julian Beck, that played the evil preacher in 1983,
Creepy
he was
dude.
diagnosed with stomach cancer that died during the second installment of the series. So he died while they were filming the second movie. Um, so if you want to, first we have uh, Heather O'Rourke, who had a bad disease that she died from, and now Julian Beck has another, stomach cancer. So,
I mean,
you know,
is it like that? Is that really a curse though, or is that just happenstance of the times?
right.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, you want to talk about strange deaths in a movie that's associated with it. I mean, yes, no, but like, all right, you got anything else for Poltergeist?
um, not really. Just Steve White in the chat really pretty much said what I was going to mention was William Sampson, who played the shaman Taylor. He passed from basically heart transplant surgery, which had very slim survival rate. So you can't really pin that on the movie or the possible curse of the movie because there was a slim rate of him surviving a big heart transplant operation. So and then before he died though he performed the exorcism. So that's all I got on Poltergeist. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell when it comes to Poltergeist.
All right, let's talk about strange deaths in a movie. All right, non-horror movie, Rebel Without a Cause,
Okay.
1955. James Dean um, died a month before the movie debuted in a car crash. With his famous car, Little Bastard, which has a whole lore situated behind that on its own, but we won't get into that. But 10 years later, Jane Mansfield, she was actually supposed to play the lead. She was the primary choice until Natalie Wood beat her out by getting arrested, ironically enough. Car crash of almost the same type of injuries as Dean. You know, Another actor in it, Sal Menino, murdered 10 years after that. And then Natalie Wood, mysterious drowning death. So,
which a lot of people think Christopher Walken did.
or Robert Wagner. I mean, that's a whole story on its own. That could be in a whole Hollywood conspiracy show if
Yeah,
you wanted that,
yeah,
But it's like, everybody really associated with this film murdered or killed horribly. You know. But now, would that be considered cursed, or is that just coincidence?
Well, it could be either. It could really go either way. Well, they all kind of died the same, except for Natalie
Well,
Wood.
yeah, the first two their coroner reports were very similar.
Yeah,
We won't get into it because you get dinged for it. But it's like that's a movie where it's like all of a sudden it's like those are a bunch of odd deaths. Or her husband, yes, Josie. I'm going with the husband because we're not talking about Walken couldn't do it. You know, but it's like that movie has a couple strange deaths in it. Would you consider that cursed? I'd say if that could be a contender for cursed films.
right. I would say like 90% probability.
And it's not even so much. What about I know this is a cursed films, but what about characters? Let's the Superman character.
Right.
Everybody that's ever played Superman has finished
Died.
off with their lives were cut short or experienced severe tragedy that ultimately led to their death.
Right.
Is that a Superman curse? Because if that's the case, I'm going with Batman. Um,
Yeah.
y- you know,
Superman, definitely. I mean, as far as characters go, and not only did a lot of deaths happen after every actor that tried playing Superman after that had bad luck, their careers went south.
yeah. I mean, the only one that whose career really hasn't gone south is so far, Henry Cavill's.
Yeah, the newer
Stand
one.
strong, dude. Stand strong. Um,
Although there was controversy that he was done playing Superman and that he may not come back. I don't know if he's going to come back and do another one.
I don't know. I'd like him to come back. I liked him as Superman.
I like him.
Yeah. I want Ben Affleck to come back as Batman, though.
But if you want to go there, yeah, he was like to me, other than Michael Keaton, was like one of the best Batmans.
And folks, this is how it happens. We get off topic real fast, okay?
Well, we're talking about Hollywood, you
But
know.
we're blaming Josie because she's supposed to be the one keeping us on track.
Real quick, Gary, if you don't mind, I just want to do some shout outs because there are a lot of people in the chat
Go
and I
for it.
don't want to ignore them. We have Michael Sembabini. He's in the chat. He's a good friend of mine. Say hello to Mike. We have Tony. What's up, Tony? How you doing? I know who Tony is. I've met her once before. She's from Ted's Paranormal. I want to say hello to her. Ronnie Anderson, my friend Ronnie. We all know. What's up, Ronnie? Let's see who else is here. My co-producer, Debbie LaBelle. She's in the chat. What's up, Debbie? She does a lot of research for us. Let's see what else we got going on here. Of course, I can't forget my lovely wife. She's in there.
Better not.
Yeah, better not. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in the
I was
doghouse.
going to say you're naming all these names. None of them you're sleeping next to tonight. So,
Then we have Mr. Steve Waite, which I'm assuming you know.
so
And then I think your wife was in there actually too, Nicole. She's
she don't pay enough attention to me. Actually, she pays too much attention to me, then gets fed up when she realizes that's what I married.
then with Mr. Brad Monks is in there too. So what's up, Brad? Guys, thanks for tuning in. We're doing Curse Films. So
Ish.
far, we're doing pretty good.
All right.
What you got?
Another quick one, like the passion. All right. I got to bring the passion of the Christ up real quick. Is it a cursed film or is it just God doing his own type of editing on the film? You know,
God could have been going. No.
lead actor gets struck by lightning while doing the Sermon on the Mount scene.
Not just once.
No, he got struck once, and then as everybody went, did he just get struck by lightning? As they went towards him, the assistant director gets struck by lightning at the same, a few seconds later. But that was the second time he got struck by lightning on this set. I'm like,
What are the odds of that happening?
I can't even calculate the odds. And everybody, you put it, you search, it's like, is it cursed? It's cursed. I'm like sitting there thinking, like, I'm just thinking that's divine editing.
Definitely.
I don't know. I mean,
A higher power is definitely at work.
yeah, there's the curse, the Atuk curse,
Yeah,
the film the Atuk. That's another that in my mind wins
that's
it for
definitely
the
a curse.
curse associated deaths.
Yeah, because everybody that was associated died.
Everybody that was looking at possibly playing the lead character
You have a
destroyed.
good list of who played,
Oh yeah.
and so go with it.
Uh, First off, there was it's the greatest movie never made. Um, it's this movie called Atuk. It's based off of a 1963 novel. It's one of those fish out of water comedy style movies, and this one I think they had it written because they keep the script somewhere. I don't want to read the script. Um, where it's like this Alaskan, you know, that comes down to New York City, and it's like one of those types of comedies. Well, originally, John Belushi was supposed to play the lead character. Unfortunately, he died of a drug overdose not too long after reading the script. So, not to be outdone, the production company sent it off to Sam Kinison to be like, "Hey, do you want to run? Do you want to be this character?" Who then died also after getting the script.
He died of a heart attack, didn't he?
I think he died in a car crash.
That's right, car crash. I'm sorry.
Um, well, then they decided to reprise it, and they sent it off to John Candy, who died of a heart attack
Yeah,
after getting the script. Starting to understand why I don't want to read this script.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Don't read the
It milled
script.
around in limbo for a little bit, and then they gave it to Chris Farley because he was a big John Belushi fan and said maybe I could take up the mantle. Guess what happened there? And it is rumored that, and as horrible as it sounds, it is rumored that Farley had given the script to Phil Hartman before he died to look at it.
Don't read or touch that script.
Exactly. Greatest movie never made, and there might be a reason why that is. I
Yeah,
mean, like that one, that you can actually go and research. Is like, yeah, you can't explain this one,
yeah. No,
but
not good. Yeah, yeah. And we don't want any deaths to occur on Strange Oddities podcast.
yeah,
So
I'm not reading the script, dude.
don't read the script.
I got this thing here. I'm gonna send you to.
No, I don't want to read it.
The,
If
I'm a
there's
little
somebody
nervous
you
about
really
talking
don't
about.
like, or if there's somebody you hate, maybe
Yeah, right. It's like, hey, man, I want to be in a movie. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
But it's a, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Then like with the Amityville horror films is another one that they're saying are cursed. Throughout. And first and foremost, I didn't realize they made so many damn Amityville knockoff movies.
yeah.
Uh,
And documentaries.
Documentaries, I'm good with documentaries. You can have a million documentaries about something, all right? Million of them. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
But I like when looking for Amityville Horror, and you have the original, and you have the remake with Ryan Reynolds, okay,
right.
But then you have like Amityville Nightmare, and Amityville this, and Amityville that, and Amityville, I'm waiting for a hockey mask dude to show up. I'm like, how many sequels are we going to make to this movie?
Yeah,
A lot of people reported a lot of strange stuff. That's the thing about a lot of movies, with The Exorcist and with the Conjuring movies and stuff. Everybody's like, yeah, there was a really creepy feeling on set all the time. I'm like, no shit, you're making a horror film,
yeah. That's the,
you
that's
know,
the whole
um,
idea.
based off of true events. So yeah, it's going to get creepy.
Yeah,
But
especially if you have like the people that were actual part of it, like actually on the set and
yeah,
there.
it's like,
You know.
um, but it's like they experience some stuff with like the normal junk of cold spots and eerie feelings. But everybody kept waking up at the same time in the morning, around 3:15, which is the same time when DeFeo apparently was getting woken up
Right.
before he did his deed.
Yeah.
Um, We're not going to get too much into Amityville because
Well,
that's
that
an
could be a
entire thing
whole.
on its own.
Yeah. We'll save all that for November 11th because on November 11th I have that huge guest coming on, Daniel Farron, who was a producer of the Amityville Murders documentary. Um, and I can't I can't wait. I'm really so excited to have this gentleman on because I've been ever since I talked to this guy, I've been doing so much research. Like I've almost become obsessed with the research for it because I want to make sure that I dot my I's and cross my T's and ask every question there is.
You hear that, Josie? If he starts waking up at 3:15 in the morning, kick his ass to the car.
Yeah. But real quick though, to add further to the point, if that was cursed or not, I the research I've been doing is really interesting because I'm going back before the house was even there. And there's this gentleman called his name is John Ketchum. There's a rumor that he fled the witch trials from Salem and came to Long Island. And he owned several houses right near that block. And John Ketchum was a witch. And I'm just saying that there could be a possible link or connection
Did you
with.
just assume his religious beliefs? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, that was his property before the house was even there. So, you know,
There's a lot to it. I mean, like, you can go back on that one too. Even before the films, like, why did he do what he did? Yeah. I see Josie in the background.
No!
yeah, you made a cameo.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'm pajamas.
Well, you should have thought of that.
Usually you have the script.
everybody say hi to Josie.
You better duck, crawl on the floor.
You see her commando crawling across.
Yeah, because I'm not using my screen tonight,
I
so
know.
it's all good.
Sorry. But, no, going back to it before my ADD went off. No, you got to go back to like what Theo did. I mean, like, was he just did he just have a psychotic break? But what led to it? I
Yeah.
mean, like I know you're doing deep research into that whole lore and
Well,
background of it.
re-
You know,
I don't know if you read this, but I read that the doctors that were on board with the investigation during that time of the murders, they were saying that DeFeo, when he was not like he appeared to not be under some kind of substance influence at the time.
oh yeah, that was always the thing. He wasn't like all whacked down on drugs or anything.
Right.
It's like, but did he have a psychotic break, or was he pushed to it?
Yeah.
You know, I tend to believe that he wasn't like possessed. A lot of people used to say, he was possessed by the spirit. It's like maybe he wasn't possessed by the spirit, but was there something that was driving him nuts?
Right.
Something that pushed him over that edge finally, that where he finally had that and decided to do what he did. But I
Right.
mean, if there's an energy associated with that, it lends credence to the possibility that when they start making movies about it, could that energy reemerge?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
we don't really have the answers or knowledge of how these things really come into play, but we can discuss the idea and we can debate that. Is there a possibility? I'm not gonna I'm not gonna rule it
there's
out.
Josie again.
Oh, that's my apparition.
It's a Halloween prop.
Right? Matt, something's moving behind you.
That's a real human skill. All
Well, I'd
right.
like to say thank everybody for coming through for the last episode of Matt being alive. Um, so
Oh,
I'm never being allowed on this show again. Uh, no, but that leads back. Going back to that, leads to it. I know you're working on stuff that about Amityville. What I'm really interested in seeing. Won't give any spoilers out to anybody. You'll all have
no,
to
no.
wait.
Yes.
Um,
We're working on something very big that I think everybody's going to be excited about because it's something very different, very outside the box, never been done, and we're hoping that it's a hit.
but yeah, I mean, but could making that movie had drawn the attention of whatever caused the initial aspect?
Yeah.
The entity had the same situation.
Same
Of course,
situation.
he had the normal creepy feelings and all those vibes. Look, she's yelling. She's yelling in chat. Um, uh,
I'll be hearing about it later.
oh yeah, you are. And you don't have a mute button. Boop. Uh,
I do actually. But,
yeah, we'll see how well that works for you. No, but like you had like the entity had the same creepy vibes and stuff, but then when they started filming the film, you know, a lot of this, people started experiencing stuff to a certain extent on that film set that was reported in the initial cases. Nothing as over the top as what happened in the film itself, but it's like things started moving.
yeah.
Things would move on their own on the set. It's like, did they like finally just call the attention of it?
Yeah.
But would that be cursed? Maybe, maybe not. Haunted. Now that's the thing. That's the one clarifier. Are we talking about cursed? We're trying to talk about cursed films, but there's a lot more films that I came across that would classify more under haunted than that. I mean, obviously things where like people are just dying and horrible stuff is just happening to people. I get that.
Right. Right.
But they had all these experiences and things. But
Yeah. But it's like you said, are they creating it because of recreating, the atmosphere of the whole
yeah, I
idea?
mean, it's kind of along the lines of you start trying to recreate something at a haunted location and you get a reaction.
Yeah.
Trigger objects.
Right.
Trying to bring you into their its attention.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think filming a whole movie about it would be way better than me saying, "Here's a stuffed animal." Um,
well, look at Michael Persinger. If everybody knows who Michael Persinger is, but he's the one who invented the God helmet, and he wanted to show everybody that he could recreate the feeling of a presence by wearing this helmet with like
Building.
electromagnetic fields and stuff, and he wanted to create a haunting to make a person feel like they were being haunted by or feeling a presence of something. So that kind of is along the same lines. Only he made this helmet that he had to wear. Only this is a movie set.
Yeah. Funny thing, I'm building a room similar to that helmet, uh,
Nice.
where you can force control energy to try to recreate somebody having the sensation of being haunted.
Can that be a
Um,
test subject?
but that's sure. People to go into it.
Nice.
You may be sterile afterwards, but that's on
Oh,
you.
well,
I'll
my
have you
wife
sign a
might like
paper.
that. I better stop.
Right. She's gonna just. I'm just waiting for her face to appear in the dark behind you.
Yeah. Or you're gonna see something hit me on the back of the head. I'm like,
Just a hand come out of the darkness. um, but yeah, no, like with haunted sets as opposed to and like strange occurrences that it happened to films as opposed to so much as curses. You like I said, Entity was like that one. Um, you know, a couple of the Conjuring movies that happened. Where weird things started. It's like it was even reported online that exactly the same stuff that happened in the original haunting started to occur. Yeah, Matt's getting beaten later. That's right, Chris.
don't encourage it. I'm already gonna get one beaten.
$5 says Josie won't do it.
She'll do it for free.
But no, like, but then there's stuff that yes, he is. But then there's stuff where it's like in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Our Exorcist is a great example of it. Not only did you have a director doing some really horrible things to their actors,
Yes.
to get those real reactions,
They set their set on fire.
To things like that happening where all of a sudden the sets catch fire and everything burns except the
Except for
room where the exorcism was being done.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we're bringing up The Exorcist. You want me to bring that up?
yeah, let's go.
All right.
That was called a lead-in.
Yeah. Segue. Here we go. All right. So there's been at least four deaths of people who have been linked to the film, and some believe this is proof of the Exorcist curse. They included now if I say these names incorrectly, we tried to practice them last night, but I may fail again. Who knows?
Damn it, actors need to have names like Smith.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. So one is Jack McGowan. I did pretty good. I did better than last night.
you dead.
Who played the eccentric film director Burke Dennings, and in the film he was killed by demon played Reagan McNeil. His character was attacked by the possessed child who used her superhuman strength to break his neck and then flung him out of the bedroom window. Ahead of the film's release, Jack tragically died from complications related to influenza, which he caught during the London flu epidemic in 1973. Then it says Veseliki uh, Malaros, I probably botched that,
It's okay. You won't be charged.
who played Father Damien Karras. Mother also passed away at the same year The Exorcist hit the big screen. It goes on to say that the star, who had no previous acting experience and was cast after being spotted at a restaurant, was ruled to have died from natural causes at inquest. In the film, uh, Vasiliki's character died after being admitted to a hospital and later haunted the dreams of Father Karras. Later, while the religious man performs an exorcism, Reagan mentions his mother's name in an attempt to distract him and make him feel guilty.
What was she
During
doing? What
hmm?
did Reagan say she was doing?
um
This is where we irk the censors. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
no, they were
What did she tell Harris that his mother was doing?
uh did I skip
She was
something?
getting to know the demons.
Yeah, yeah. So it basically, during production, a number of the cast and crew, including Linda Blair, who played Reagan, and Max von Sydow, who played Father Merrin, also lost family members. Not only that, the son of Jason Miller, who played Father Karras, had a near fatal motorcycle accident during filming. So that's some of the stuff I have here, other than the freak fire.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of so you had a lot of deaths surrounding that movie.
Yeah.
You had a lot of injuries surrounding that movie, like the broken back. But like I said, that attributed to the director wanting realism, so he told the stunt coordinator, yank her back against the wall before she's prepared for it. I'm like, oh wow. I get the idea of saying, hey, we're going to yank you at this point, but we're not going to tell you why.
Yeah.
But not just like, oh yeah, hold on. So that's where those injuries came from.
Right. But what kind of back injury did she suffer? They didn't
I
really.
think she fractured like 2 vertebrae.
Wow.
It's in the scene where Reagan throws her mother against the wall with her mind. But on the set, she had a harness on, and the rope led through, and there were people on the other side of the wall to yank her back to give that effect. But, and she was supposed to be yanked back, and she was told you're going to get yanked back. You say your line. When you say this word, that's when it's going to go. Well, they turned around and told the stunt coordinators, listen, I want you to really yank the hell out of this rope, all right? And she's going to say 3 words, and then you go. I want you to do it on the second word. So it's kind of like, and that was the result of that. Believe Linda Blair received a lot of physical injury, too, from all the actions that they had her doing with the thrashing around. Once again, but now that goes back to, safety regulations aren't as tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but there is definitely weird things there, like the whole fire thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It like everything caught fire except for the bedroom.
Yeah, the room where the exorcism was actually performed.
Right.
Which that's not the first time I've heard about that. Where houses that an exorcism has been performed are the only ones that survive mass fires and everything else. It's like,
Well, it was blessed.
Once again, it goes back to like that whole Passion of the Christ thing, that God editing. Um, you know, this set's still important. We'll keep that in.
Maybe they were getting it wrong on the set, and God was like, "No, you're wrong. Damn it."
Yeah, who knows? It's like I don't like that couch. You know, but that movie is a good one.
Yeah,
The Omen's another one where you had some really awkward issues that had happened as a result.
that's the next one on my list.
Wow, look at that! It's almost like it's planned out.
Yeah, nice. All right, in 1975, my believe it or not, my wife loves this movie. Uh, in 1970, and
She
don't get no
would.
ideas. In 1975, just 2 months prior to filming, the Omen lead actor Gregory Peck's son shot himself. That's pretty effed up. Then, while flying to London in September, Peck's plane was struck by lightning. And this is where it gets even more crazier. A few weeks later, executive producer Mace Neufeld was on a plane to Los Angeles that was also struck by lightning. Then, and after that, producer Harvey Bernard narrowly escaped being struck by lightning while filming.
Listen, at that point, I think I would have just like canceled the film, shut down the set, and been like, "Thanks, folks. Head on home."
Yeah,
Something's telling you, let's
yeah,
not do this.
yeah. So then it says, who can blame Bernard for deciding to carry a cross on set? So he, I guess, ever since all this stuff started to happen, he decided to carry a cross on him at all times, and I don't blame him either. He was quoted as saying, "The devil was at work, and he didn't want that film made." Then, not long after that, an animal handler who helped with the crazy baboon scene in '76. That was the year I was born. Wow. Um,
I was a year old.
wow. That's
Yeah, I'm old.
crazy.
Shut up.
No, I'm just this is I don't know, I just find it fascinating. This is the same year I was born. Um, anyway, so it says the animal handler was mauled and killed by a tiger after that scene was shooting.
All right. Obviously, your job is working with exotic predators,
Yep.
where you're pretty much low on the food chain when you walk into work. Could that have been part of a curse, or could that just been,
Bad
you
luck.
know? Listen, you're working with tigers and stuff like that, and you get Siegfried. I get it. Um,
Yeah, but going back to the Passion of Christ thing, all right, lightning struck twice, but in this movie, lightning was struck like 4 or 5 times.
exactly. Like you had me at the passion. It's like not even the second time the dude got hit. Oh wow, the odds of you getting hit by lightning are like astronomical. The odds of the guy like 3 feet over getting hit by the next bolt of lightning, come on.
Yeah,
So
it's like winning the lotto.
yeah. Now this movie, like we're in pre-production still. Everything keeps getting struck by lightning. Maybe that's a sign.
Yeah.
Because like the doorbell rings and it's Amazon. They deliver me Bibles. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another sign.
Signs.
Blame it on the omen.
Another creepy kid movie, by the way, Josie.
Yeah.
Get your movie.
There's more stuff here actually.
No, keep going. Gets better.
Yeah, it gets better. Um, Also in the Omen, special effects artist John Richardson, who helped with the film's infamous decapitation scene, was in a car crash during post production. While Richardson survived, not only did this happen on Friday the 13th, when he survived that crash, the head on collision beheaded Richardson's passenger that was riding with him, assistant Liz Moore, in a manner that was eerily similar to the death scene that they helped shoot.
See, more supernatural editing. Okay, that's something going. Look, you didn't get that scene all that right. This is how it's supposed to look. All right. Once again, another sign.
Yep.
All right.
And then this is also messed up. Richardson reportedly saw a road sign near the accident scene showing the distance to a Dutch town that the it read Omen 66.6 km.
These people aren't helping themselves at this point.
And the last thing I have says a plane that was chartered by the film, but switched at last minute, went down shortly after takeoff, killing everyone on board. Shit.
See, that was the. All right, look, I tried to warn you.
That was the
Flex.
exclamation point.
Yeah, that's like, you know what? This is a bad idea. It's not a good movie. Shouldn't even be watching it, Josie. Watch a nice, good Christmas movie like The Exorcist or something. Yes, The Exorcist is a Christmas movie, by the way. Forgot to tell you that.
It's a Christmas movie, really?
Yeah, it takes place during Christmas. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh,
There's a tree. They have cheery music at some point in there.
good point.
Um,
Nice. Want to say hello to Alan May, just joined us. What's up, Alan? How you doing? And
Alan.
Chris Griffith, another friend of mine, was just tuning in. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, Chris is helping me get you beat after this.
Yeah, yeah, they want to see it done.
So, yeah. On next week's episode, Matt will explain why he has a black eye.
If I make it to next week.
I opened the cabinet too fast.
All right. Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, here's a. Now, Rosemary's Baby is another one I would definitely sit there and say there's some curse going on here. I mean, a lot of curse. There's a lot of people. I mean, all right. I would even venture to say there's probably a deal made with the devil in order to make this movie. All right, because you got a lot of people involved that were relatively nobodies. And this movie skyrocketed their careers. And then their careers just turned to shit. Either ended up dying or other things else. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, what a shocker. You know? It is. Rosemary's Baby was in like 1968, right?
Yep.
You know, let's start out with the writer himself, Ira Levine, okay?
Yep.
He became a top player in the field with his original book that the movie's based off of, okay? After that, after the book went number one and the movie was made, right? The church starts hounding him. Oh, why do you hate God, you know? His wife leaves him. He goes down in this spiraling depression of paranoia and never really does much else after that, you know? But how do you go from nobody to big to that?
Right.
Contract. Producers.
Yeah.
You know, another one, Robert Evans. He was relatively nobody until he hit Rosemary's Baby. He was known for The Godfather also. But then later on in life, instead of riding it, he starts getting involved in all these legal issues with like cocaine trafficking. He got tied into the Cotton Club murders. I mean, like his life really didn't do too well after this
No.
all ordeal came down.
No, not at all.
You know, the composer for it, Christoph Comedia or something like that. If you're familiar with the film, when her one friend that was suspicious falls off this rocky ledge and dies.
Yeah.
Dude, same thing happened to this dude. He ends up in a coma for a year before he finally kicks off as a result of it. It's like, and then, you know, let's talk about, we talk about the top one, Roman Polanski.
Oh, yeah.
He directs the film. You know.
Yeah. A year after the release of the film, it says about evil descending upon an expectant mother. Members of the Charles Manson family murdered Polanski's wife, Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon Tate, Roman's unborn child.
Yep.
At a dinner party, Manson murders. Right? Roman goes through this series of cocaine, alcohol, binging, wild lifestyle. Not granted, that's, you know, it's getting into the 80s at that point, so that was normal.
I also want to quickly add, speaking of Sharon Tate, real quick, while I have it in my mind, the gentleman that I'm having November 11th, Daniel Ferens, also had a hand in producing The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
Don't start with your stuff, Josie. Don't bring that on me. Don't you put that on me, Josie.
Helter Skelter.
Yes. For those that aren't familiar with it, Charles Manson did this because he was whack job crazy and all of his followers were on acid.
They also
Yeah.
believed he was part of a cult.
Yeah, he wanted to. If he was using this to kick off Helter Skelter, which would have been a religious/race war, where him and his followers would stay out in the desert and smoke weed and do a whole bunch of weird stuff until it was all over, and then they would emerge victorious. That didn't really work, obviously.
Nope.
But no, Polanski, after all that went down, he got charged with child molestation and sexual assault. Skipped the country, and he lives and he's been bouncing around to non-extraditionable countries ever since.
Is he still alive?
I'm not even sure if he's still alive.
I haven't heard
I think
really.
he is.
I haven't really heard anything, so I'm guessing he is.
I don't know. I'm going to ask the mystic source. Oh, Google.
Oh man! So I hope everybody's enjoying our topic tonight. We're doing.
Yeah, he's still alive. 88.
Wow, he's up there. I was gonna say he's got to be up there.
Oh yeah, he's definitely up there.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about cursed films. If you're joining us late, if you haven't seen in our background there, this says.
That's right, guys. We were trying to talk about cursed films.
No, we've been doing really good. Actually, I'm enjoying the show.
So,
yeah.
But we're not really staying on topic. It's Josie's fault.
Yeah. Well, it'll be my fault later.
Yes. But filming the location of Rosemary's Baby, the Dakota, in New York.
Yep. Very popular haunted building. Yep.
John Lennon. Guess where John Lennon got shot outside of?
Yep. The Dakota.
That's topper. So I mean, like that movie there's a lot of stuff on that movie that would make me tend to believe that you'll blame me for your downfalls. Damn right I will. There's a lot to be said about that movie. There's a lot to be said about all the movies. I mean, there's some things that are weird. There's some things that are coincidental, I'm sure of.
Yeah.
But I mean and there's some things that are indisputable. Like I said, I'm going back to the lightning thing. When bolts of lightning are getting tossed down at you, I'm pretty sure that's telling you right then and there that you should not be doing this.
Yes. Or even 4 bolts of lightning.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he's involved now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that person's involved.
Yep.
It's like, is that like an initiation? Kind of like, couldn't you just get a T-shirt made?
Gary and I were kind of on borderline if this was also a person or a character that was cursed, not so much a movie franchise. But if everybody ever watched the movie The Crow with Brandon Lee, so that's on one of my lists. But if we can kind of start all the way back from like his father, Bruce Lee, who I'm a very big fan of. I followed him in his movies and his, I followed him since I was little, so I know a lot about his history. He had drummed up a lot of enemies because he came over to the United States and started his own, karate classes and made a chain out of it over here in the States.
He started teaching kung fu to Americans, and that was really frowned upon.
Yeah, so
in his country at the time.
A lot of speculation that Chinese mafia had a hand in his death, or at least had something to do with it. Anyway, long story short, there's a lot of
Bruce believed he had a family curse chasing him.
Yes,
it wasn't just like because he was pissing off enough people. He honestly did believe that he had a curse.
Yeah.
And it was a family curse, and he was afraid for his children, and he was afraid. afraid for his family, that this curse would come and take them. And it just so happens that he did die, you know. And then decades later, his son, who became an actor, had an unfortunate incident on set.
Right.
For anybody that's not familiar, there was a scene where he gets shot with a prop gun. Well, apparently, a partial piece of the dummy shell was left in the barrel from previous firings, and when they pulled the trigger, it actually sent that projectile out and hit him.
Yeah.
It's not like they loaded a real bullet in a gun,
Right.
because that never.
But it was
happens,
enough to kill him.
Alec. That's a horrible tragedy too. But like real quick, you could associate The Crow with what's happening right now in the media with the movie Rust.
Yeah.
Where it was an unfortunate incident with a prop gun, but I really think that one was poor planning. A lot poor planning.
Yeah.
Poetic justice for a guy that really spent the time shitting on people,
Mm-hmm.
and then it happens to him.
Right.
But at the same time, it's horrible because people died on both sets.
Yep.
But yeah, with the Lee curse, that's not so much as a movie as it is. I think it's the family.
More of a family curse. Yeah.
And yeah, that is a shame. Because I like Bruce Lee too.
Yeah.
I think everybody grew up fighting invisible ninjas in their backyard, thinking that they were Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Yep.
But,
what was the movie? Because he was in so many, but the one with Chuck Norris, and they, and they had all those fighters. Remember all those?
Oh, there was Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon.
That had was it Will Chamberlain? No, it had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in it. What didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that had Kareem in that. I can't think of the name of it right now. Going back to that Mystic. It's going to bug me if I don't.
The movie was pretty good. I don't know if you saw the Bruce Lee story.
I love that movie. That was a good movie. That was a great documentary. I mean, apparently later on, his wife said that a lot of that didn't happen. There was a lot of creative license with that movie.
Yeah.
But it got kind of the premise of it.
Right.
I can't see the name of it.
Yeah, but he really opened the door for movie actors and that type of kung fu, to kind of be mainstream.
So Bruce Lee, you want to talk about a cursed tragedy with how his deal?
Go for it.
He comes to the country. Came to the country. I want to say he came to the country post World War II, so he was still dealing with a lot of prejudice on that. He got jobs on movie sets. He was the Green Hornet's sidekick.
Yep.
Kato. He did those films. Now, welcome to this episode of Strange Oddities, where we talk about Bruce Lee. That was back then when they told him, it's like, Bruce, you need to slow down. They had to forcibly tell him to slow down because the camera couldn't catch everything he was doing.
Yeah. I would love. I tried, believe it or not, getting his wife on as a guest on Strange Oddities, which would be freaking awesome.
That would be a great interview. I'd love to hear an interview with her about him.
Yeah.
But was another thing, the TV show Kung Fu.
Yeah.
He had a hand. He pitched that idea. That was going to be his starring show.
Yep.
And then they gave it to David Carradine.
Yeah.
Instead, which never made sense.
Yeah.
You ever wondered why, what the deal was? How weird that show was? Like Kane walking through. Why is it a white dude walking through it?
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be Bruce Lee doing it.
Right. But I think that was during the time of the whole,
But no, Bruce did bring kung fu martial arts to mainstream movies.
Yeah.
In the United States. Never got a lot of credit. But, happens.
Yeah, it happens. Alan May said, believe it or not, he has not seen Enter the Dragon. It's a very good movie.
you nuts? You get off. Go. Go watch it and come back.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the other? There was a bad spinoff of him. What was it called? The Last Dragon. What was that dude that played the star in that movie? Remember?
oh God, that bad '80s
Yeah.
spin-off movie. Oh Jesus, yeah, no. No. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Remember that big guy with the hair that was the villain?
Yes. We're not going there. I've seen so many memes about that movie with him lately.
Yeah.
We're not bringing that into this world.
And then he was trying to act like Bruce Lee with the hand motion thing.
Yeah, he does all this weird
Yeah.
crap.
I wish I had a filter and I could slow down my hands and then I'd have special effects and I could act like him.
Yeah, those are horrible movies. But no, he actually, Jackie Chan attributes his career starting out to him.
Yeah.
Chow Yun Fat attributes it back to him as well. A lot of people that attribute it to him.
And he brought in didn't he bring in that big guy too into the industry?
Abado.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the lead bad guy throughout like the late '70s, early '80s movies on everything.
Yeah.
But he was actually like a Shaolin monk or something
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah. But he was a big dude.
Nah, he's just big compared to everybody else. He's
Wow.
like 5'9", which is like giant. And all right,
Yeah.
that's why he can't go to like Japan or anything or China because. Although part of me wants to get one of those inflatable T-Rex costumes and run around.
I think we covered everything on my list.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies. I mean, like we could talk about like the Entity movies and stuff like that, but like there's nothing that really stands out about them. There's like creepy aspect of it. You want to talk about haunted movies? I mean, you talk about movies like I said, like the movie The Death Tunnel or The Tunnel of Death. You ever see that movie? It's
I have
like it's an indie budget movie. It's based off of the Death Tunnel that's at Waverly.
Okay.
Probably everybody on here knows about Waverly. They know the story of Waverly, and they had the tunnel that they would bring the bodies out. But there's this indie movie, and it's like super. It's like super meta about it because it's a movie shot as a documentary of a film crew, a low budget film crew, making a movie about making a horror movie about the tunnel. Okay, so you with me so far? It's
I'm
like
with
it's a mystery trapped in a conundrum.
Yeah.
But while making that film, the actors and directors reported a lot of weird stuff happening, like legitimately happening. Like they're sitting there going, "Look, I know we're making a movie about making a movie about a movie, all right, but this is no shit stuff. Like this is
Right.
this is what's happening." And on top of that, when you watch that movie, because they left a lot of the footage in, you'd see people in the tunnel and you'd see people in hallways and stuff like that had absolutely no part in it. Like there's one scene, and everybody's going to run off to Google and find it because, you should.
Yeah.
Where it's like the scene is basically the scene is set like, one of those found footage. It's like a handheld shot of behind the scenes of the director and the actors arguing about the scene because something just happened in the scene. Well, all the way down the hallway, this person steps out of a doorway, right? And then like just stands there for a little bit and steps back. Well, there was nobody in the hallway in the actual filming of that. And they're
Wow.
like, well, who's that dude? And they're like, well, we caught something. It's like, well, we're going to put it on there. But because this movie is so stacked and so it's just, even I'm like, should it really, did they just like fake that? Is that a publicity scam? Like, are they trying to do that? But it's like,
Right.
but they swear stuff like that would happen. They got locked in the tunnel. They were
Wow.
down there pre-lighting the tunnel to do the film like the
Yeah.
day before and got locked into the tunnel. If anybody's ever been to Waverly before or something, you know how it is down there.
Right.
Um,
I'm gonna go see the movie now. I haven't seen
yeah,
it.
you got to find it's a straight to DVD movie type deal.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find it. It's like called Death Tunnel or The Making of Death Tunnel or something like that. It was a horrible movie. It was a horrible movie. Like you ever watch one of those like Saturday sci-fi things on Sci-Fi Channel? You're like, wow, triple-headed octopus shark that walks on land. Like one of those level quality movies. It's
Yeah.
like, but but yeah, there's like stuff that happens in that a lot. Other haunted sets, going back into the '80s, like another story, Three Men and a Baby.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story of the ghost kid of Three Men and a Baby?
Yeah. Those. But didn't they say that was Ted Danson's cardboard cutout?
All right, so I looked into that one too because we went down like because things did happen on set. All right,
Oh, okay.
nothing bad happened, but people would see things on set, like doors opening and closing on their own. Now, what makes it odd is because you're not shooting a horror film,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so now, yeah, you got to go back to the '70s and '80s where paranormal stuff was not a big deal.
Right.
In fact, to a certain level, like we talked about with Amityville, it was shunned upon. Like
Yeah. It was
you
still.
didn't want anybody to know somebody got murdered in your house because it would never sell. You didn't want anybody
Yeah.
to know your house was haunted because it would never sell. It's
Right.
not like today where you're posting up on your placard out front, house for sale, 6 deaths, 5 ghosts.
Yeah. It was still taboo back then. Yep.
Yeah. So this was the thing. So they get this footage, it gets put in. But back then, because their budget, they were budgeted a certain amount. They couldn't go back to reshoot scenes, so it was left in. It wasn't discovered till post production of this kid standing back there. So the rumor is that they created a story like, oh no, it's just a cardboard cutout. It wasn't until years later that somebody came back and said, "There ain't a cardboard cutout." They told me to tell everybody it was a cardboard cutout. So it's kind of a weird deal.
Yeah, it's a little controversial then.
And the fact that for a cardboard cutout, that thing was pretty three-dimensional. You
It,
can still
it
get the film
was.
today and see it in the film.
Right. But if I'm not mistaken, it could have been editing, but when the camera pans, like if you rewatch that scene, it like disappeared.
Yeah, like he turns. It's like
Yeah,
that's a great cardboard cutout.
because like how like that's some pretty damn good editing. Because like it would have, because that camera was rolling, it didn't like cut to another scene.
Yeah, that was a track scene. That wasn't a static scene.
You know what I'm saying?
So, but like you have things like that.
And then I brought up, which is not really cursed, but like bad stuff happened to a bunch of people, the actors. Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz was, like I said, I'm going to put Wizard of Oz classified in that they just didn't have as tight tolerances on safety and political correctness. But it was like the one that played the witch. He got burnt.
Yeah.
You know.
And the alleged munchkin that hung himself. And
that's another twist of controversy. They're saying no, it was a crane brought on set, but there's still no proof record that they brought cranes on set.
Well, here's the thing of what I found out. I was watching that YouTube link that I sent you. They were saying that there was like the old version of the film that was out that people could get a copy of, but then there was the remastered, and in the remastered that they put out again had the bird in it. Now they're saying that they threw the bird in there to cover up what happened.
It's a possibility. Anything digitally remastered means that you've literally gone in and digitally
Right.
fixed everything. So whether you added stuff or removed stuff, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How many times has George Lucas digitally,
Yeah.
the Star Wars films?
But if you watch that clip without the bird, like if you find a copy of the
the original VHS.
like you can almost see like what almost looks like a noose with a rope.
Well, in the original VHS, like you look at it now, if you look at any of the footage that you can get now on DVD and stuff like that, you see it, and it is a bird, and the bird goes up and down like this. But in the original, you see it bounce down and wobble at the base more, like a midget being hung.
Right.
Um, it's like, well, it doesn't look like a person being hung. Well, because they're only 3 feet tall. um, but yeah, that was a great case of set. Like, apparently, everybody always said that all the Munchkins were hammered constantly. All they did, they got paid daily, and they didn't get paid much, but all they spent their money on was whiskey, and they got hammered all day long. They got all handsy on with the actresses.
Yep.
They got into fights. They got caused problems constantly.
Police were being called every night at their hotel room, from what I read.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Judy Garland apparently complained that they were groping her.
Yeah, a couple of them. She had. There's 2 stories out there where she talked about she had a very pleasant experience with them, where she sent them all gifts and stuff at the end of the filming, and then she also said at the same time that maybe some of them were out there, trying to get a little Dorothy love. Meanwhile, others were nicer. But then, perfect example is that Buddy Epson was supposed to, Jed Clampett was supposed to be the original Tin Man. Well, the silver makeup that they stuck on his face he had a horrible reaction to.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And they literally said, well, no, just keep filming. To where he ended up in the hospital. He was hospitalized on his deathbed before they finally went, well, I guess we're not going to use that. And instead of instead of changing the formula, they just got another dude. Yeah, the Chevy Chase Carrie Fisher film, Under the Rainbow.
I have not seen that, but I kind of vaguely remember the title.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
But, there's a perfect example of maybe not so much cursed, but made cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Cursed filming as opposed to a cursed movie.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, we're already at an hour and a half, bud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we've been having a blast talking about cursed films. Stuff happened before we even started broadcasting the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like, we really wanted to send it home for you folks.
We wanted to sell cursed films. I think we did.
Part of me wishes that you could have started broadcasting with that voice going on.
It was funny. I was doing a test, like, I don't know, about a month ago with this new platform, Restream, and I was doing a live, and I sounded exactly like what you were hearing earlier. And my wife was like, "That's eerie. You sound like a freaking alien." She's like, the way she described it was I sounded like an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, you did. You sound like an alien. Super, super high pitched and kind of like gravelly.
Yeah.
Like I said, the best way I could describe it is like, Donald Duck on helium.
I was not sucking in helium. I swear.
It'd be fun to do an entire show like that, though.
Yeah, right.
See how many people could keep messing with their volume.
Right.
I don't understand what's wrong with it.
It would make the show very interesting. See how many listeners that could stay on.
Especially when the oxygen deprivation kicks in. So anyway.
Right. So guys, this was a very special Halloween episode. I want to thank my co-host tonight, Mr. Gary Greener, aka Roy Poole, as everybody knows him. Gary, do you want to share anything, like any projects you're working on in the public eye you want to share? Events, things, anything? This is your chance to promote yourself.
As always, I'm working on at least 10 projects at once. Some of them pay out. I put things on 5 and 10-year plans. You know how it goes. I enjoyed being on here. It's fun. It's always fun to be out there. As for events, I don't know. I'm going to dinner at a friend's house on Sunday. I mean, that's about it.
Pray before you eat, before you get struck by lightning.
Right. I'm telling you, if I get struck by lightning in the next week, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It really
It
was.
was. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, though.
Absolutely. Just want
No,
to
no,
give.
you started that, Josie. You started that.
No, I didn't pick on you. We had fun.
She started that. Look at me. Well, I didn't pick on you.
I
Matt's
want to.
getting beat.
I
Matt's
want to
getting
make
beat.
sure that we include our chat group people and thank them for participating tonight. We had a lot of people in the chat, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, want to thank everybody. I don't want to forget anybody, so I just want to thank everybody. That's just a better way.
Thanks, everybody, for spending time with us.
Yeah, it was great.
Hopefully, made it entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was.
So,
But I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween this weekend. I want everybody to be safe. The weather's supposed to be a little iffy. The next couple of days is some rain coming. I hope the kids get to trick or treat without bad weather. Um, Gary, what are you going to be following?
what am I going to be for Halloween?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Nice.
So,
I have this funny gigantic sombrero hat that I'm gonna wear for the kids at school, and I'm sure they'll get a kick out of
I wanted to get dressed up at the refinery, but they said, no, I'm not allowed to get dressed up at the refinery. We wear the blue onesie jumpsuits. We were all going to get Michael Myers masks and just appear randomly throughout the refinery to see if anybody would notice.
it.
They said no. But anyway,
Nice. I can't believe next week, Gary, is my 50th episode.
I know, dude. You're moving up there in the world.
Yeah,
Better get a cake or something.
right. Well, kind of. I want to announce to everybody that next week, guys, is the 50th episode of Strange Oddities podcast. I am so excited to have a 2 hour special about the Titanic. I'm going to have Craig Sopin. He is from the Titanic International Society. He's a Titanic historian. He'll be on the second hour at 9 o'clock. Then I'm gonna have I'm trying to. Unfortunately, Helen Benziger, who was a descendant of the unsinkable Molly Brown, who was a survivor of the Titanic. I was gonna have her on, but unfortunately, she had an illness, so she had to back out. I have a backup plan. I'm hoping to have another descendant of the surviving, one of the surviving people of the Titanic on the 2 hour special.
I say you film on location.
I wish. I wish. That would be awesome. Film.
I'm looking forward to seeing that show. So,
Yeah.
and
And
Josie, you better have like a cupcake with a candle or something for him.
then,
Expecting it.
yeah. Really.
See? Haha.
Oh no, I think that's it. So I think we're gonna end it here. And guys, as always, follow us on YouTube. Facebook is where you get all the news and information. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the show. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you. And also, I can't forget, today is National First Responders Day. So I want to thank all the first responders for their service to our communities out there. Thank you for protecting us and making us feel safe. Want to make sure that those people are recognized because I'm a patriot and I don't want to forget to say that. I think that's it. So, Gary, it was a great show. Thank you for being on. It was
Thanks
a lot
for
of
having
fun.
me.
Stay on the show. We'll say goodbye after I tell everybody good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. I'm going to play our video here, and you guys have a great night. Be safe out there.